It wasn't a boast. It was a dare. And for nearly 250 years, we have been failing it in the most American way possible, by mythologizing the challenge instead of rising to meet it. The Founding Fathers. You hear the phrase in campaign speeches, courtrooms, classrooms. We invoke them like saints, quote them like scripture, and debate them like a fantasy football team. But here's the thing. They weren't a unified front. They were a bitter, squabbling, contradictory group of radicals, aristocrats, idealists, and yes, enslavers. What they had in common wasn't purity of vision. It was courage of compromise. And yet, many of them couldn't agree on how. Jefferson and Adams did not speak for over a decade. Hamilton and Burr resolved their disagreement with pistols. Franklin, nearing his death, begged the delegates to sign the Constitution, even if they didn't fully agree with it. That's not ideological triumph. That's democratic realism. Slavery, property, voting, religion. The contradictions weren't footnotes. They were foundations. Many of the men who wrote "All men are created equal" didn't believe it applied to women, Black Americans, or even the poor. The Constitution didn't fix that. It avoided it. Madison warned of factionalism, then built a system of competing power centers. Hamilton feared judicial tyranny, then proposed a strong central government. Washington crushed 2 armed rebellions, not to fight tyranny, but to enforce it. He wasn't arming citizens to resist the state. He was the state. He was now the government. His oath meant protecting it. And the protection was muskets, not M16s. These weren't avatars of one idea. They were men negotiating in a room full of mirrors. The genius of the Constitution isn't in its original form, it's in its mutability. That's not originalism, that's intent, designed for evolution. The founders gave us a living document, not because they agreed on everything, but because they didn't. They knew time would do what compromise could not: refine. So when people quote the founders to shut down debate, they're doing the opposite of what the founders did. They're ossifying the system that was meant to adapt. The myth isn't that they were great. The myth is that they agreed that there was one founding intent, ready-made, timeless, righteous. But here's where the fable becomes dangerous. When politicians claim Hamilton as a Wall Street mascot. When originalists say Jefferson supported unlimited gun rights. When fundamentalists invoke Washington to keep church and state tangled. They're not quoting history, they're writing fan fiction. Even as they call it constitutional scholarship. The phrase, "the founders intended," is a bipartisan incantation. Both sides use it to justify wildly opposing visions of America. And the courts? They've leaned into the myth. Originalism, the Federalist Society's gospel, claims to honor the founders by freezing them in amber. But if you want to honor their actual courage, you have to risk disagreement, embrace evolution, refine through reason. The real gift the founders gave us was not a perfect union. It was a dare to build a better one. They knew it would take time. They knew it would be ugly. They knew their own flaws would one day be dissected. It's not betrayal, it's the point. It's not a riddle, it's a warning. And it's never been more urgent. Because the moment we start confusing tradition for truth, or compromise for cowardice, we lose what made the American project radical in the first place. Intent, not infallibility. Courage, not conformity. A living document, not a sacred text. The founders weren't saints. They were flawed humans in flawed times, just like us. Which means this republic was never meant to be worshipped. It was meant to be kept.